Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to unpack the story of an athlete who did way more than just play his sport. He basically built an empire around it. We are, of course, talking about Arnold Palmer, the man they called the King, who took golf from a quiet country club game and blasted it into everyone's living room.
All right, so let's just start with a question, right? One that really gets to the core of the whole Arnold Palmer legend. How does one guy, a professional golfer, go out and build an entire army? An army so loyal they followed him down every single fairway.
And the answer? Well, it's simple, but it's also pretty profound. He did it without any weapons, without any warfare, because his army wasn't made of soldiers. Nope, it was an army of fans, just completely devoted fans who literally marched with him everywhere he went and, in the process, helped change a sport forever.
Okay, so let's tee off on this thing. Let's get into the story of how Arnold Palmer's unique mix of charisma and sheer talent made him golf's undisputed king and the commander of its most famous army.
And it is so hard to overstate his impact. I mean, before Palmer came along, golf was often seen as this quiet, kind of stuffy pastime for the rich. He just crashed onto the scene and turned it into this must-see TV event, a total spectacle.
So where did this all come from? How did this legend get started? Well, Palmer's story doesn't begin in some fancy palace or a corporate boardroom. It started right there on the grass. You look at his path, and it was anything but the typical road to golf stardom. He was born into the game, sure, but from the ground up. His dad was the greenskeeper at the local club. Then his college career gets interrupted by military service, but get this, it's in the Coast Guard that he really honed that powerful go-for-broke style that fans would absolutely fall in love with. And then that U.S. amateur win in '54? That was the spark that lit the whole fuse.
And, this contrast, it's everything. It's the key to understanding why people loved him so much. At a time when golf was totally seen as this game for the wealthy, for the exclusive country club set, Palmer was the complete opposite. He was the son of a greenskeeper. He was relatable. He was a hard worker. And he just shattered that old world image.
And it was that authenticity, that working-class vibe that really set the stage for one of the most passionate, incredible fan followings in the history of sports. This is where his superstardom was really born. And they didn't just follow him. They had a name. They were Arnie's Army. And look, this wasn't just some casual nickname. It was a real movement. It was people from all walks of life who felt this personal connection to him, and they would literally march with him from hole to hole.
And wow, talk about timing. His timing was absolutely perfect. Television was just exploding in the 50s and 60s, and the networks were hungry for stars. And Palmer, with his aggressive style, that swagger, his charisma, he was made for the camera. The energy of his army was just electric on screen.
So there you have it. That was the magic formula, right? It wasn't just that he was a great golfer. It was the whole package. A bold, attacking playing style, a completely fearless attitude, and this magnetic personality that just drew people in. That's what created golf's first true modern superstar.
But let's be real. All that charisma, all that popularity, it wouldn't have meant a thing if you couldn't back it up on the course with wins. So let's take a look at the numbers behind the legend.
Think about this number, 62. 62 wins on the PGA Tour. To put that in perspective for you, that puts him way up there among the most prolific winners in the entire history of the sport. The guy was just a relentless winner.
And inside that massive number were the ones that really count. 7 major championships. These are the tournaments that define a golfer's career. They are the absolute pinnacle of the sport.
I mean, he absolutely dominated golf's biggest stages. He practically owned the Masters. 4 green jackets, come on. And he proved he could win anywhere, grabbing both the US Open and the Open Championship across the pond. These are the wins that cemented him as an all-time great, no question about it.
But here's what's so fascinating and kind of human about his story. Even for the King, there was one that got away. He never ever won the PGA Championship, which was the last piece he needed for the career Grand Slam. It's just a powerful reminder of how ridiculously hard this sport can be, even for the absolute best to ever play it.
But really, to get the full picture of Arnold Palmer's impact, you gotta look way beyond the scorecards and the trophies. His legacy, his real legacy, it stretches so much further than his playing career.
I mean, after his playing days were winding down, he built this incredible empire. He wasn't just an ex-golfer. No way. He became a super savvy businessman, a world-renowned golf course designer, and maybe most important of all, a global ambassador for the game, always representing it with class. He wasn't just a golfer anymore. He had become a true cultural icon.
And seriously, think about this. How many athletes are so famous that a drink gets named after them? A drink everyone knows. The Arnold Palmer, half iced tea, half lemonade, is just the perfect, simple example of how far his influence reached. His name became a part of everyday popular culture.
And that quote right there, that's it. That's the core of his legacy. He took a sport that felt kind of distant and closed off to a lot of people, and he made it exciting, he made it accessible, and he made it loved by millions of people who had never even thought about picking up a golf club before.
So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What's actually more powerful, winning championships or winning hearts? Arnold Palmer, he did both, and he did it in a huge way. But his story kind of suggests that while trophies make you a star, winning the hearts of the people, well, that's what makes you a king.